4 vitamins that can seriously harm you, and 4 you actually need to take daily once you're over 60. For decades, the common advice was that vitamins were a safe way to cover your health bases, like a kind of insurance policy. The older you got, the more important it supposedly became. But here's the unsettling reality. Nearly 99% of older adults have no clue that some of the most popular supplements in their cabinets, the ones marketed as heart-friendly brain boosters or special blends for seniors, are in fact sabotaging their health from the inside out. Instead of safeguarding your body, these products may be quietly damaging your brain, thinning out your blood, or eroding your bones. Why hasn't this been widely publicized? The answer is straightforward. The supplement business generates more than $39 billion every single year, pushing synthetic concoctions that were never properly tested on individuals over 60. If consumers suddenly stopped purchasing, the entire industry would lose profits, so there's no incentive to warn you. These aren't obscure pills hidden away in specialty stores. They're the very supplements heavily marketed to seniors, often with labels that suggest they're essential for longevity. But things are about to change. In this video, you'll learn about 4 harmful vitamins that might be undermining your health right now, and 4 life-saving ones that can actually undo the damage and help restore your body from within. Here's the most chilling fact. The top vitamin promoted for brain health is linked to a 22% higher risk of stroke in adults over 60. That's not a dramatic headline meant to scare you. It's backed by clinical trials and peer-reviewed science. Before we dive in, take a moment to share your age and location in the comments below. Also mention which vitamin you currently take daily because you were told it was vital. We're going through every comment and giving personalized advice tailored to your situation. Now let's get started with number 4 on the danger list. Believe me, the industry doesn't want you to learn about this one. At the 4th spot, synthetic vitamin E. It's one of those nutrients you probably assumed was helping your heart. Vitamin E has long been celebrated as an antioxidant that slows aging, strengthens immunity, and prevents cardiovascular disease. That's why it shows up in nearly every senior multivitamin. Look for it, and you'll often see the names D-alpha tocopherol or DL-tocopherol. But here's what you weren't told after age 60. The synthetic version of vitamin E, commonly found in supplements, can stockpile in your fat tissues and completely throw off your antioxidant defenses. Because vitamin E is fat-soluble, your body holds onto it rather than flushing it out. Once it accumulates, especially the synthetic type, it can flip roles and behave like a pro-oxidant, doing harm instead of good. A 2022 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that adults over 60 who consumed high doses of synthetic vitamin E every day faced a 22% increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke, a particularly N70 by S. Trosted Dut, dangerous form of brain bleeding. Even participants who took more than 400 international units per day, which is actually less than many standard over-the-counter doses, showed elevated markers of oxidative stress in their blood work. If your multivitamin label lists DL-tocopherol, that's the synthetic form. The natural version is written as D-alpha tocopherol, and even then it should only come from food-based sources rather than lab-made isolates. So if you still want the protective benefits of vitamin E, you're far better off getting it from whole foods like sunflower seeds, spinach, and almonds in reasonable amounts. If a supplement is absolutely necessary, it should be the natural form and only taken under medical supervision. Now prepare yourself. The next vitamin on the list is even more common, and it's probably sitting in your pantry instead of your medicine cabinet. Coming in at number 3, preformed vitamin A. You've probably been told vitamin A is essential for healthy vision, and that part is true. But here's what many don't realize. The source of your vitamin A matters much more than the amount. There are 2 distinct forms. Preformed vitamin A, already in its active state, appears in supplements as retinol palmitate and retinol acetate. The second form is beta-carotene, a plant-based precursor that your body transforms into vitamin A only when needed. The danger with preformed vitamin A lies in how your body handles it. Your liver stores it, and after 60, the liver becomes less efficient at regulating those reserves. If you're taking daily multivitamins or fortified foods containing retinol compounds, especially at levels over 1,500 micrograms per day, the vitamin can gradually accumulate to toxic amounts without you realizing it. Research confirms this risk. A 2021 study in the British Medical Journal showed that older adults with high intake of preformed vitamin A had a 48% higher chance of suffering hip fractures even when their bone density appeared normal. The reason is that excess vitamin A disrupts vitamin D and calcium absorption, leaving bones brittle and fragile from the inside out. And the consequences don't stop at bones. Taking too much preformed vitamin A can trigger a list of problems that seniors often mistake for normal aging. These include blurred vision, dry and flaky skin, frequent confusion waves of nausea, and even increased pressure inside the skull. Because these symptoms seem unrelated, many older adults fail to realize they're caused by excessive vitamin A. If you want to strengthen your eyesight and keep your immune system resilient, the safer path is to rely on foods rich in beta-carotene, such as sweet potatoes, carrots, and kale. Your body only converts what it requires, avoiding the risk of overload. When it comes to supplements, steer clear of anything with retinol on the label, particularly if your diet already includes fortified dairy products or cereals. Take George, a retired carpenter from Ohio who is now 72. He lived an active life, watched his diet carefully, and faithfully swallowed a senior multivitamin every day for more than 10 years. Then out of nowhere, he tripped in his garden, suffered a minor fall, and ended up with a fractured hip. During his recovery, doctors ran tests and discovered that George's vitamin A levels were nearly double the safe upper threshold. The very pill he trusted to protect his vision had been silently undermining his bones. After cutting synthetic vitamin A and switching to natural food sources of beta-carotene, his bone scans gradually improved, and he hasn't experienced another fracture since. Next on the danger list, vitamin B6. This one might surprise you. Vitamin B6 is frequently marketed as essential for brain health and nerve function. You'll find it in nearly all senior-targeted multivitamins, in memory support blends, and even in energy drinks. But here's the reality. Once you pass 60, your body processes B6 far differently than it did at 30 or 40. Aging kidneys don't clear B6 as efficiently, so even moderate supplemental doses can pile up in the bloodstream. Over time, this low-grade accumulation can poison the nervous system, especially in the hands, feet, and spinal cord. This isn't just theoretical. A 2022 study in Neurology Clinical Practice tracked adults over 60 who were taking more than 50 milligrams of B6 per day, the amount found in a single brain support capsule. Within 6 months, many developed tingling, numbness, burning sensations, loss of balance, and even difficulty walking. Researchers concluded that B6 toxicity is one of the most underdiagnosed causes of nerve damage in seniors. The troubling part is that the damage may persist even if you stop taking the pills, because vitamin B6 stays lodged in tissues. If your supplement contains more than 10 milligrams a day, check the label immediately. You're likely consuming too much. The reality is that most adults only need 1.7 milligrams daily, and this is easily met through regular food intake. If supplementation is necessary, it should be short-term and always supervised by a doctor. Consider Frank, a 75-year-old retired mechanic from Arizona. Hoping to sharpen his memory, he began taking a nerve support B-complex supplement. Within a few months, he noticed a burning sensation in his feet that gradually crept upward into his hands. At first, his doctor diagnosed diabetic neuropathy, but there was one major issue. Frank wasn't diabetic. Blood tests later revealed his B6 levels were 6 times higher than the upper safe limit. Once Frank quit the pills and shifted to food-based sources of B vitamins, his symptoms slowly eased. Still, some numbness remains to this day. Despite risks like this, B6 supplements are still sold over the counter with zero cautionary labels for older adults. And now, we move to the number one most dangerous vitamin for anyone past 60, the one most often recommended for bone health. Finally, we reach the number one most dangerous vitamin for people over 60, folic acid. You've probably been told this nutrient supports red blood cells, protects the heart, and even improves mood. That's partly correct. Folate, the natural form found in leafy vegetables, is indispensable. But folic acid is a different matter. It's a synthetic version added to most multivitamins, breads, cereals, and supplements. And here's the catch. Once you're past 60, your body becomes less capable of converting folic acid into usable folate, which sets the stage for trouble. When the body struggles with this conversion, unmetabolized folic acid begins to accumulate in the bloodstream. That's where the danger lies. A 2023 study in the Journal of Gerontology Medical Sciences found that older adults with high levels of this unmetabolized folic acid faced a 70% greater risk of cognitive decline and memory loss. The risk was even more pronounced when vitamin B12 levels were already low, which is very common among seniors. The problem goes beyond memory. Synthetic folic acid can disguise the symptoms of a B12 deficiency, allowing silent nerve damage and worsening cognitive issues. Over time, excess folic acid has also been linked to higher risks of certain cancers, including colon and prostate cancers, because it can encourage precancerous cells to grow more rapidly in older bodies. If you've noticed worsening brain fog despite faithfully taking your vitamins, folic acid could be the culprit. Unfortunately, most senior targeted blends still pack in 400 micrograms or more per dose with no warning labels about these risks. The safer alternative is methylfolate, often labeled as 5-MTHF, which is immediately active in the body. Or better yet, get folate directly from natural greens like spinach, arugula, and asparagus, which require no conversion and pose no risk of buildup. So, if you've been relying on folic acid even from a basic daily multivitamin, it's time to stop and replace it with a version your body can actually use safely. Now that the 4 most harmful vitamins for seniors have been exposed, let's flip the script and talk about 4 vitamins you truly should be taking every day. These nutrients can help rebuild strength, strengthen your immune defenses, and even slow the visible signs of aging. Coming up first is a vitamin most seniors have barely heard of yet, one that may shield your brain more effectively than certain prescription drugs, and it can be found in something as simple as a single glass of juice. Number 4 on the must-have list, vitamin K2, specifically in the MK7 form. Surprisingly, most people over 60 have never even heard of it. Don't confuse it with vitamin K1, the type found in leafy greens that helps blood clot properly. Vitamin K2, particularly in the MK7 version, is a completely different nutrient. With a critical role, it directs calcium to where it's needed and keeps it away from where it doesn't belong. After 60, calcium has a way of drifting to the wrong places, like lodging in arteries instead of bones. This hardens blood vessels and elevates the risk of heart attack or stroke. Vitamin K2 does something remarkable. It activates matrix GLA protein, which sweeps calcium out of your arteries and delivers it back into your bones, where it actually strengthens them. Without enough K2, even taking calcium or vitamin D could backfire, raising the odds of arterial blockages. A 2022 study in the Journal of Nutrition followed adults over 65 who supplemented with 180 micrograms of MK7 daily for 1 year. The results were dramatic. Arterial stiffness dropped by 50%, bone density increased, and inflammation markers declined. No prescription drug in the trial came close to delivering such benefits. Getting meaningful amounts of K2 from diet alone is difficult unless you eat natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish that many people find unpalatable. More practical food sources include aged cheeses and pasture-raised eggs, which provide small amounts. But for therapeutic benefits, MK7 supplements, look for menaquinone 7 on the label, are the most effective. Experts recommend doses between 100 and 200 micrograms daily. Here's an insider tip: never take K2 on its own. It should always be paired with vitamin D3 and magnesium. This trio works synergistically to move calcium out of soft tissue and into bones. Without that teamwork, K2 cannot reach its full potential. Now let's turn to number 3 on the must-take list, vitamin B12 in the methylcobalamin form. Here's the hidden truth: many older adults are deficient in B12 even if they eat meat regularly or take a standard multivitamin. The reason is that after 60, stomach acid and digestive enzyme production decline. B12 from food sources like beef, eggs, or dairy requires strong stomach acid for absorption, and without it, most of the nutrient simply passes through unused. This is not a small matter. Vitamin B12 plays a role in almost every major function: your brain, health, energy levels, mood, balance, and the production of healthy red blood cells. When your levels dip even slightly, the early signs can seem subtle. Maybe you feel mentally foggy, you tire faster than usual, or you start forgetting simple appointments. But if the deficiency continues unchecked, it can escalate into nerve damage, mood swings, or even depression and hallucinations. A 2023 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society revealed that 1 in 3 adults over 60 had borderline or outright low B12 levels, despite following normal diets. Those with reduced levels experienced twice the rate of cognitive decline compared to peers and were far more likely to struggle with fatigue and balance issues. Multivitamins didn't solve the problem because most of them contained cyanocobalamin, a cheap form that many older bodies cannot efficiently convert. The fix is straightforward. Switch to methylcobalamin, the active version of B12 that doesn't require digestive conversion. Sublingual tablets, oral sprays, or injections bypass the stomach and move straight into the bloodstream. Experts suggest taking around 1000 micrograms several times each week, though some seniors, especially those on medications like metformin or acid blockers, may need higher amounts. Don't let something so preventable rob you of your clarity. B12 deficiency is both easy to overlook and just as easy to correct once addressed properly. With the right form and dosage, you can restore sharpness and energy in a matter of weeks. Moving forward, let's talk about vitamin number 2 on the must-have list, vitamin D3, also known as cholecalciferol. You've almost certainly heard of vitamin D and might already take it. But here's what often goes unexplained if you're over 60 and not specifically supplementing with vitamin D3. Chances are you're not meeting your body's needs. Vitamin D is not merely a vitamin. It acts more like a hormone influencing over 1,000 genes in your body. As you age, your skin produces less vitamin D from sunlight, and your kidneys become less efficient at activating it. So even if you spend time outdoors and eat a balanced diet, deficiency remains common. Why is that a big deal? Because vitamin D3 governs immune responses, bone strength, and mood regulation. When your levels dip too low, the risks multiply. You're more likely to suffer fractures, constant fatigue, frequent infections, and even depression. A 2023 study in the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry tracked seniors for a full year. Those who maintained blood levels of vitamin D between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter had significantly fewer depressive symptoms, 30% fewer respiratory infections, and better physical mobility. Here's the catch. Most older adults are deficient without realizing it, especially in colder or northern climates. Standard multivitamins usually provide a token dose, often as low as 400 IU, which does almost nothing. Current expert guidance recommends between 2000 and 5000 IU of vitamin D3 daily in the natural cholecalciferol form. Avoid vitamin D2, the synthetic version commonly found in cheap multivitamins or even some prescriptions. It's poorly absorbed and far less effective for older adults. For best results, always pair D3 with vitamin K2, MK7, and magnesium, ideally magnesium, glycinate, or citrate. This trio works together to funnel calcium into bones instead of arteries. Without that balance, vitamin D3 alone can backfire over time. Here's a practical insider tip. Always take vitamin D3 with a meal containing healthy fats. Because it's fat-soluble, absorption improves dramatically by as much as 50% when paired with foods like avocado nuts or olive oil. A simple adjustment in timing can multiply the benefits. Finally, we've arrived at the number one vitamin every senior should consider: vitamin C in liposomal form. Most people associate it with preventing colds, but its benefits reach much further. Vitamin C is crucial for producing collagen, repairing tissues, maintaining blood vessel integrity, and even creating neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Beyond that, it functions as a powerful anti-aging nutrient at the cellular level. As the years pass, oxidative stress steadily damages your cells. This cellular wear and tear contributes to wrinkles, memory decline, cardiovascular disease, and countless other problems. Vitamin C helps neutralize that oxidative damage, essentially slowing down the biological clock. But not all vitamin C supplements are created equal. In a 2022 study in the Journal of Cellular Aging, older adults who took liposomal vitamin C, where the vitamin is wrapped in tiny fat bubbles, showed measurable anti-aging effects within just 8 weeks. DNA damage markers dropped significantly, and mitochondrial function improved. Standard tablets, by contrast, only allow your body to absorb about 15–25%. If you're relying on traditional tablets, you're missing out. Liposomal C, or whole food options like acerola, cherry powder, or camu deliver far higher absorption without the stomach upset linked to large doses of synthetic ascorbic acid. Most seniors should aim for 500 to 1000 milligrams daily, split between food and supplementation. For those with sensitive stomachs, buffered products are the better choice. Here's a bonus advantage. Vitamin C enhances iron absorption, which is particularly important for older adults who may hover near anemia. Pairing your vitamin C with meals can boost stamina and energy without needing separate iron pills. So, if you're aiming for clearer skin, stronger immunity, healthier blood vessels, and sharper brain function, make vitamin C part of your morning routine. It's one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to age on your own terms. Now that you've seen the contrast between dangerous and life-saving vitamins, the next step is yours. Before we wrap up, let me ask you two questions. First, what symptom or daily struggle makes you feel older than your actual age? Second, which of the four beneficial vitamins are you most eager to try or perhaps already taking with success? Drop your answers in the comments. We're reading and responding to every single one with personalized suggestions. And by sharing, you might help someone else make smarter choices too. Thanks for watching.